حي على الفلاح.
They say Abd Al-Muttalib was sleeping in the hijr of Ismail. He heard someone say, dig ZamZam, dig a water that will never decrease and will never falter, and it will quench the thirsts of the pilgrim strong. Dig where there is mixture of animal droppings and blood, and where the crow with the white feet or white tail is picking at, where there will be a village of ants. He found it and he started to dig. And he dug, and people started to come around, because what's you understand me? The more you dig, the more people. What's he doing? More people gathered around, and eventually he struck something hard. But you must understand, the Kaaba is in the center, but water wasn't anywhere near it. The actual well of ZamZam is exactly 20 meters away from the Kaaba. ZamZam wasn't around at the time of Abd Al-Muttalib. What had happened? Do you remember the olden days? The tribe of Jurhum buried it, and then they ran away, and then after that no one found it. So now, although the actual ZamZam is near, but no one knows where it is. So they've dug other wells in other places and are getting water. So when the time of Hajj comes, the Hujjaj are inconvenienced, Abd Al-Muttalib and his group are inconvenienced. So one day he's asleep, and this narration is by Ibn Ishaq, and it is from Ali ibn Abi Talib. They say Abd Al-Muttalib was sleeping in the hijr of Ismail. Some scholars say a light, and some say a voice, and some say a person, or he heard someone say, Uhfur tayba, dig goodness. So Abd Al-Muttalib said, what is tayba? And the voice and the person disappeared. So he woke up, and some of the chronicles say he told the Quraysh that this is what it is. So they said, listen, if it's a good dream, if it's a divine dream, you'll see another one. If not, then it's satanic and forget about it. So next day he went, slept there again. They put his bed in the hijr, slept there again, and this time he heard the voice or the person say, Uhfur barra. And barra is, from goodness, purity, cleanliness. So dig that. So he says, what is barra? The person disappeared. So now he knows there's an instruction, I have to do something, but he doesn't know what to do. It's dig what? So he did it a third night. Slept in the hijr a third night. He saw again the person or the light or whatever it was that he saw. And this time it commanded, Uhfur madnoona. Dig what will be envied, as in dig the treasure. So he says, what is the treasure? What is the thing that people will envy? Again, it disappeared. Now this night, sleeps again, and this time the person comes or the voice comes and it says, dig ZamZam. And then it gives him a little bit of a rhyme, if you like, of where it is. Dig a water that will never decrease and will never falter, and it will quench the thirsts of the pilgrim strong. Dig where there is mixture of animal droppings and blood, and where the crow with the white feet or white tail is picking at, where there will be a village of ants. So Abd Al-Muttalib got up and went, and as I say, 20 meters away from the Kaaba, he found the bird or the magpie with the white stripes or the white tail picking on the floor, and he saw some animal droppings and blood. And others say there was a cow running loose, and the one who was chasing after it, he caught it here, cut it, the blood fell on that spot, and the animal droppings fell on that spot, so it fulfilled the actual dream. But irrespective of what it was, he found it and he started to dig. So when he started to dig, after, initially Quraysh are going, what are you doing? Digging next to the house of Allah Rabbul Izzah in the Haram. He was a man of stature, and at the same time, people kind of let him be. And he dug and dug, and people started to come around, because, what's, do you understand me? The more you dig, the more people, what's he doing? More people gathered around. And eventually, he struck something hard. He cleared it, and he found a gold gazelle. 2 of those buried inside there, and some other stuff. So now, and they found ZamZam. So now that the treasure came out and ZamZam came out, the Quraysh said that we have a share of this too. It's in our country, the land of our forefathers. Abd Al-Muttalib said, no, I've dug it, I've found it, it's mine. I have the rights over the water and the rights over the treasure. So they said, it can't be. Worst case, we will fight you for it. So in this moment, this man respected, revered, adored, all of a sudden feels weak. And he looks around, all he has is one son. And the son is Harith. So in his heart, he felt a moment of weakness. So he said, okay, let's choose a judge between us and you. So they said, okay, we will go. This is one of the narrations. We will go to the soothsayer, if you like, or the diviner in Sham. Basically, there was a lady whose wisdom was acknowledged, who had some hocus pocus practices as well. So, they had that air of mystique around them. So, we will go to that person. So some 30 people went with him. So going, they were crossing the desert. In the desert, the water ran out. When the water ran out, it became so tight that they realized they're going to die. So Abd Al-Muttalib said, listen, there's only one thing to do. Each man dig your own grave. Because it's sure death. We'll just sit next to the graves and wait for death to come, because what else are you going to do? And whoever dies, we will bury him and keep burying him until the last person. With the last one, the animals and the birds and stuff will eat, but it's better for one person to be, taken by scavengers than everyone. So we'll do that. So they started to dig. And as they're doing this, a thought occurred to Abd Al-Muttalib that I'm not going to sit here waiting for my death. I'm going to, so he hit his camel, get up. I'm going to go make an effort, And as the camel gets up, the hind legs, the back legs are up, the front legs, they're about to come up, and under the right hand of the camel, as he moves it, water gushes out. So the Arabs realized, they said, this is a sign. For the one that could bring water for you here in the middle of nowhere, he's the same one that's brought for you water on the other side, so we accepted that water is yours. They turned back. They didn't even go to Sham. And then the rest of the treasures were distributed. They basically cast lots in 3. On one was written Abd Al-Muttalib, on one was the Kaaba, and on one was the Quraysh. That way most of it, or all of it, was distributed between Abd Al-Muttalib and the Kaaba, and the Quraysh got nothing. So ZamZam is discovered. And ZamZam was a treasure to be envied. Just in the middle of the city, 20 meters from the Kaaba. You just do this, give it to the Haji. It is done, instead of going to bring water from here and there. And ZamZam is amazing. I was looking at the well of ZamZam. Normal wells have algae and fungus and things like that. No algae forms on ZamZam. Just by the qadr of Allah Rabbul Izzah. Its nature, its composition is such. Algae doesn't form on it, fungus doesn't form on it, and it doesn't reduce. So it's got a low point and a high point, and it always stays between 11 and 18 meters. It doesn't go any lower than that. Doesn't matter how much you pull out. And subhanAllah, from that time, and it's just a well, it's not an ocean, it's a well. it's been pumping out, and you guys go there and bring it in bottles with you, and people visit you and you give them little sips of that, and people drink there and people eat, and for centuries this has been happening, and now it's people purchase it in shops and so on and so forth, and ZamZam, alhamdulillah, is still ZamZam. So this glorious source of water was rediscovered by who? By Abd Al-Muttalib. In his family, there's just one man at this stage. It's Abd Al-Muttalib and Harith. So at night he went to sleep. He went to bed, and you know how you think before and you're sleeping. Sometimes you start thinking. He's looking back at the day and what has happened, and mashallah, there's a lot of honor. He discovered ZamZam, treasure camp. His honor, esteem, prestige would be, went through time and space, if you like. But there was something troubling him, and that was when he needed it, he only had one son. So Allah Rabbul Izzah opened the gates of children for him. And when you study history, he has had 19 children. The last one in those days was Abdullah. Can you imagine, as he watches the kids grow, in the back of the head, the oath keeps coming up that remember, you have to sacrifice one you promised Allah. So once they reached maturity, and where he could delay it no longer, khalas, it's evident that they have all reached manhood. So he gathered them together and he said, listen, I have taken an oath in my younger days that if Allah grant me 10 sons and they reach maturity, I have to sacrifice one. So what do you say? But the sons say what their ancestor said before them. Ismail alayhi salam, the father, came with the same proposition. So now the children say, Dad, complete your oath, fulfill your promise, we are ready. So he takes them all inside the Kaaba. And he calls the diviner of the arrows, the one that does the picking from the Quraysh. And the person came and they cast lots and they pulled out and the name Abdullah. So, and his mother is from the big tribe of Makhzum. And so, and all the associate tribes have come as well, seeing what's going on. And they know the story, but so they see Abd Al-Muttalib holding the hand of Abdullah walking out of the Kaaba. In the politeness and the sensitivity of the Arabs, the chief of the Makhzum tribe says, Abd Al-Muttalib, where are you going? So Abd Al-Muttalib turns to explain, I had made an oath in this. So the chief said, not our son. Even if it takes the wealth of the whole of the tribe of Makhzum, we will not let our son be sacrificed. There was like a spiritual lady in Yathrib. We will go there, and some say in Sham. We will go there and speak to her and see what she says. So they went, they told the story. So she said, give me 3 days. 3 days later, she comes out. She goes, what's the blood with? What's blood money in your country? So they said 10 camels in Mecca. So she said, then put arrows and put one called Abdullah and one camel. If at the tip of the arrow it says Abdullah, sacrifice 10 camels. Like each time his name comes out, sacrifice 10 camels. Like keep sacrificing camels until his name doesn't come out anymore. So they went back and they put his name in camels in the lot, and they pulled out Abdullah. So already his name was out once, so that's 10 camels. All right, another 10 camels. Pull out again Abdullah, another 10 camels. Pull out again, another 10 camels. It went until 100 camels. So after 100 camels, they pulled out, and the name of the camel came out. So Abd Al-Muttalib said, do it again. So they pulled out again, camel came out, they pulled out again. So he was happy that the Lord has accepted. And they sacrificed 100 camels.